wear prom gowns everywhere.
That's a great age. That's a great number age.
It's also the year I graduated from high school.
Really?
There was something else that was 69. I don't know.
Sex.
Facebook, welcome to Comic Spot. Look who's here. Somebody hella funny. His name is Ricky Byrne. And I'm telling you, I think he knows how to burn. I think you can get burnt by him in a comedic way.
Oh yeah, don't get burnt might be that way. Please. That's a bad way.
No, but I mean, this guy could probably do a real sick burn.
Indian burn.
Yeah. So I want to do the intro that he sent to me. So here we go. Ricky Byrne, comedian, actor, improviser, co-host of the Senseless Behavior podcast. I can't wait to hear about that.
Oh, wow.
Seen on Netflix, TV One. Movies Into the Wild, Kites, The Hangover, shows, Entourage. This guy's for real, you guys. He's real. This isn't that fake stuff that I put on my Facebook page. Oh no, this is real. Yeah. So welcome to Comic Spot, Ricky Byrne. Yay. I didn't even know I did a pun about your last name there.
You went all in.
I didn't even know it. So innocent. Now I just look racist.
No, you're good.
I don't even know why I said that. Just like old people just look racist.
No, not everyone. You're good.
Thank you. Ricky, talk to me about you, for crying out loud. Who are you today?
Right now I'm a comic at home, like a lot of us comics, but we find a way to still work. Right now I'm just been focusing on my podcast, just learning the whole process of the editing skills and, learning the editing process, the background of kind of running the show right now. So, I got two co-hosts with me, comedian Jay Reed and my cousin. She's a personality in Las Vegas. So I was like, we want a woman's perspective of for the show. So I was like, no other better person than, my cousin Asia, Jade, she got with us. So me and Jay Reed revamped the Sense of Behavior podcast. And right now we're probably 27 episodes right now recorded. And thank you. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, and just building that brand and just building that content to just go out there, just the same as all comics and entertainers. So, and just trying to find some different outlets to express ourselves.
So tell me about the Senseless Behavior podcast. How's that for using your titles?
It's good. It's not just senseless talk, but we have certain topics that we do talk about, that we dwell into. We talk about, mental illness. We get into, we've been talking about the vaccinations lately, of course, politics from the whole election that we spoke about. We have an episode called The 5 Love Languages. We go deep into relationships as well, but, just having our own perspective view on our experiences in our relationships that we had in life.
I just want to interrupt. Old.
No, you're
good.
The
5 love languages. Time, talk, task, things, touch.
Yes, I believe so. I think I forgot already.
I love that stuff. That's so important to know. And mental health. Oh my gosh, I gotta watch your podcast.
Yeah, we get into it. I think with the mental health that I think a lot of us had to deal with, especially with the pandemic being closed down. We all have gone through our depressions and probably still dealing with it, or past depressions, and just trying to find light of it. I think as comics, we try to find light of, the disasters in our life.
Yes. So tell me, what made you decide to have content that means something?
I think all of us I think everybody really goes through it, and a lot of people don't really want to talk about if they're down or if they're depressed. Right now I'm completely open. Yeah, I went through some depression, and I think a lot of us have, especially with pandemics. You find out, who you really are with this shutdown. We found out a lot about ourselves. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So some of the guests you've had on have like been who and talked about what? So I'm
uh,
excited about the podcast.
one of the we have multiple guests. We have Chef B. He's a renowned chef. He's won Con versus Cons on the Food Network, and so he's a celebrity chef. And we had him on the 5 love languages, and I think that food is such a big love language with everybody. Everybody loves food, so I was like, Chef B, come through. He's a good friend of mine, so he came down. We had DJ So Hype that came down and did a interview with us. He talks about the industries in and now building and trying to market yourself. We had a huge YouTuber named Blasphemous HD. So he shows the business side of how to build your YouTube following. Who else have we had as guests? We've had other comics that have come through, but once we were trying to do the interviews, it was it was easy at first because we were doing it at a theater location. Then we had to kind of move it into a secluded spot, so it was hard for us to do a little bit more interviews with the cast and the crew and the lighting and camera work, and just the space that we're in, and just with not just social distancing, but it was harder for us to do interviews, so we moved it. So, but our first couple of episodes that we have, it's a few interviews. Then after, it's going to be interviews kicked in.
That's so cool. So have you ever interviewed anybody with a brain injury that was 69 years old, turning 70 on March 19th?
We're going to talk about this, and you're not 69. Stop it.
Yes, I am. And I think it's hilarious that I waited this long to look this hot. My whole life I was, Cardi B minus.
No, you are a category. You know that.
I get my clothes at Forever 21.
I mean, that's you're my category.
It's just fun, because you get ignored when you're older if you don't dress up. You do. It's just a fact. It's fine. I'm going to dress up. I refuse to be ignored.
Do you wear the heels?
Yes. Hooker heels.
Mm.
I got to get noticed. I'm a baby boomer. I ain't going to get, no.
It's like we're gonna keep on booming.
you want an okay boomer? You got one.
Yes, I do.
That'll shut you guys up about the okay boomer thing.
I'll take that boomer.
Talk to me about who you were, because we talked a lot about your podcast. Mm-hmm. I want to go back in time to where did you come from? Because your pictures, every single one of these photos of you, I mean, people should see this if they didn't. He's so in that picture. He's so in the moment, talking about you in the third person here. Look at that. That is such a great photo because of you, who you are. So where did you grow up to get that wonderful? Were you raised by a wonderful grandmother, or why are you so wonderful?
Definitely definitely wonderful grandmother. God rest her soul. She passed about 8-9 years ago. So she was like the second mom to me from my mother. I had grown up San Fernando Valley, Sylmar, LA area, northern LA, and I was pretty much raised by my mother all the way up to, I'll say, junior high. I had a stepdad, but my father passed when I was young, and so I was always that kid that trying to put a smile on my mom's face and bring laughter to her. I'm the middle child. My father passed. My mom was down and out, so I was like, all right, this is I'm gonna make my mom laugh. Let me get some attention. You got the older son, you got the young daughter. This is my time to shine. So it was like always trying to make my mom laugh when I was a kid, and I always wanted to be into like the arts and theater or in front of the camera. Um, went to I think it was probably junior high or actually high school where I was trying to get into acting a little bit more. I moved to LA, or not from LA. I moved from LA to Riverside County and went to a high school where they actually had a theater program.
What high school?
Rancho Verde High School, class of '03. I'm 35. Yeah.
What city
So,
is Rancho Verde in? Rancho Verde?
no, Rancho Verde is in Moreno Valley, California. So it's in between like Riverside and Paris, Temecula. It's in between that in that area. So in the IE, went to high school there.
My daughter lives in Marietta.
Okay, yeah. Marietta is right next to it, for sure. So I studied theater when I was there, and when I would say around that time, I was looking to try to expand myself, and got caught up with a place called John Robert Powers.
Yes, I know it well.
That fucking place. God, I don't know what this guy is doing now, but John Robert Powers, they are hounds on trying to look for scout talent and have them pay for themselves. So even though you do have to invest into yourself as a kid, get acting classes and all this other stuff, but a lot of the time it was just a scam to just gouge money from parents and stuff like that, because every kid wants to be on Disney Channel. So
yes, that's so true.
So from there,
even Tommy Chong wanted to be on it.
Everybody wants to be on Disney Channel. Everybody, because you see all the celebrities that made it out of it. You see Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake. Then after, where else can you get to? Nickelodeon. I want to be on Nickelodeon as a kid, and so with that, inspiration, I always just wanted to act. I always wanted to show, just be a life of the party. Even as a kid, I got a lot of my inspiration from my family, my grandmother, my grandfather, my uncles, cousins, my brother, my sister, my mom. Everybody in my family was a character. So it was just like, I'm trying to embody everybody to, just show my life, really, and just be as original as I can.
So who in your family said, you know what, you're funny? Who at school, at home? Who noticed it first?
I would say my mom. She definitely noticed it. I think a lot of them have. I think with my family it was tough because everybody was a character. Everybody was funny, and then after, as a kid, I'm clowning and telling jokes and trying to live up to them because all of them are funny. So I just took it to the stage.
Do you remember the first time you ever did anything funny?
Yeah, I hurt myself. I mean, kids can be dumb. Kids can, do stupid stuff sometimes. So I tried to slide down a set of stairs with a wooden ironing board. That didn't go well. That didn't go well at all. Like, Mom, look, and I'm going down the stairs. It catches on the stair, on one of the stairs, and some handle broke and it went into my foot.
Oh my gosh!
So a nail in the ironing board went into my foot. I'm laughing, but kids do stupid stuff and we get hurt easily, but we just wipe it off the next day. Now, when you pass 30, you can't fall asleep right.
I think that maybe Tiger Woods should take up that. He should take up going down the stairs on an ironing board rather than driving.
Yeah, Tiger Woods, man. I'm hoping that he gets better. He's a great athlete. I love Tiger Woods. I idolized him as a kid. But yeah, I think that it might be that Asian part of him. He's not good at driving. That's a second accident, and I mean, I've been through a lot of accidents as well. We all, but that one was.
That's a wake up call if you're lucky.
I'm praying for his safe recovery and to get better because I
Yes.
love Tiger Woods. So
Me too. So the very first time that you decided to throw caution to the wind and chase being rejected and heckled, when was that, and how did your first time go, Ricky?
with
Comedy, getting
comedy,
on stage,
I
and
was
then
about to
we'll talk
say
about your acting
I was
too.
about to say with a girl. I was like, yeah, that happened very early in life. That happened in second grade. probably kindergarten. Uh, uh, first show was a rejection. The first show I got slapped in the face. I bombed, but I fell in love with it. But I've always loved comedy. I've always loved the craft. I loved the fact that you can make complete strangers laugh. The first show that I've ever done, it was in Vegas. It was an open mic, and I bombed. I got completely blasted, drunk, and went up on stage and bombed. I didn't know how to structure a joke. I didn't know how to the transitions, how to build a story. I didn't know nothing. Had no clue how to do anything. I just went up on a whim and just, all right, let's go.
Yep. And you bombed, but you got up there and you learned.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so cool. And were people kind to you, and people come along and give you tips, or how'd that work? How did you get from there to now?
From there, I was in just pretty much popped my cherry, and then I got to meet and really kind of like build a relationship with, comics and the local scene out in Las Vegas, and they kind of give me pointers, and they told me about other spots to perform at, and it was such a growing and just a great camaraderie that we have, or at that time we did have. A lot of people, went to other places, they moved, their careers have, built up to other things, and uh, so I think that camaraderie kind of, gave me that ambition. I could do this. I can, all right, keep on sticking with it. It took me a little bit to really kind of find my rhythm and find that how to structure certain things, how to read the crowd, and certain ways that, this if this joke don't go, then I could, let me go with this one, and I know this one's going to be a hitter. It's going to work, and try new bits and see what, the psyche of a lot of people. Where I I think it's amazing. We're never going to stop learning this craft.
And we're never going to arrive. I mean, it's art, so it's never going to be what we want. We're artists.
Right. Yeah, we are.
And artists are never happy with their, I mean, Picasso didn't sit around and go, look at what I just did. I don't think he did.
He probably looked at things. It was like that. Well, Mona, was it? No, that was that Da Vinci that did Mona Lisa.
I think it was
Leonardo da Vinci that did Mona Lisa. Like even
certain. I don't know my artists.
A certain certain artists. You're not always happy. There's always a way to finish certain things, and I'm not at that pinnacle or point in my career at all. There's a lot of growing with me. Still trying to learn from the greats and my, say bigger brothers or bigger sisters in comedy, and and just be inspired by, everybody really, because everybody's inspirational in a sense.
Who was the first person that gave you your first show or first feature spot? Somebody you want to give a shout out to because they gave you a break.
Corey Holcomb.
Okay. Comedian
Corey Holcomb. He before I started doing stand up, of course, doing acting and theater. I was an improviser. I was doing improv at the time, and I moved back to LA after Vegas, and was studying improv. This is before I started doing stand up at all, and he at this time he's on Wild 'N Out with Nick Cannon on MTV, and he's bringing me around the scenes and showing me like Paramount sets when he was on Everybody Hates Chris. And so he's like, this is, the steps in the process. I'm meeting Tiffany Haddish when she's still like, possibly maybe homeless. I'm sleeping on a couch in my uncle's house. at the time. So, and I'm just meeting all these great comics. And so he brings me along. He looks out for me. He takes me under his wing, and he shows me a lot of the stuff. So when I moved back to Vegas, I started doing stand up. I built at least some type of. I built a 20-minute routine, and he's like, "Hey, all right, you ready? Come on, let's go." So he took me to Pittsburgh with him, and I opened up for him at the Improv. And other than that, I would say comedian Adrian McCovey, AD. He took, it's another big brother of mine. He's took me on the road with him, doing improv sets with him. And of course, my big brother is Jay Reed. Comedian Jay Reed is my big brother that's shown me how to succeed. And just like, there's so much more to just being up on stage. There's so much more. There's the business of it. There's, shaking hands and being likable. Like, this guy's a likable guy. Like, the devil can't say nothing bad about this guy. So, but he said he took me under his wing, and he has me feature for him from time to time, and he showed me the ropes and still showing me like what to do. Like, he's still learning, and he's like, all right, we're gonna learn together. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do all this stuff. Like, we're building a team up.
Wow.
So,
tell me something you learned by observing or going through weird, hard, stupid, scary stuff in comedy or improv or acting.
For one, never get into a physical altercation with the host or the crowd. I've done that twice. I've been in fights and with people, just off of disrespect. And there's ways about going around it, but sometimes I don't know. It's sometimes people get a little disrespectful in life, so. But I'm all about respect. Respect our fellow comedian, and kind of like learn if there's anything that even a younger comic under me that is willing to teach me. Like, there's certain things that they do that they know. It's all about learning, and it's all about getting that information out there to each other and building with each other. And it's not some people like to make it a competition. It's not a competition. We're everybody has their own journey.
Absolutely. Tell me some funny story from being on the road. You're a proven road comic, paid road comedian. I want to hear a funny story. I was at Harvey's Comedy Club in Portland, running mics in a goldfish bowl. I mean, a window the size of Mount Rushmore, where the homeless were looking in, and the other host, I was co-hosting. He was taunting the homeless people, so they'd be coming in to beat up the people inside.
Wow.
I've seen it all, in Portland, I've seen it all. I haven't seen the United States except East and West Coast. So what do you got? Some weird stories.
I had to stay at a swingers house one time.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I stayed at swingers house. Yeah, that was fun. I didn't get down or anything, but I seen some stuff. It was interesting. So I was in California doing the Brea Improv, and I'm with one of my bigger brothers, and he was like, all right, we're gonna stay at this hotel. And the hotel completely fell through. We didn't get to stay at the spot, but the people that attended the show, we had a swingers group there. So he's like, all right, we're going to go stay at this other place. The people that were at the show. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. 2 totally different swinger groups were attending the show. So we go to the house. I can't even remember what city was in Los Angeles. It was probably maybe 10 minutes away from the Brea Improv. And we get in this house, and all we get to is in this neighborhood, in this cul-de-sac, you see a big ass Doberman Pinscher just barking out the window. I'm like, are we staying here? This is crazy. All right, so we go inside. We have a couple drinks, and once we walk in, we see this young man and this older woman, on each other. Not sexually, but it was close enough. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's her boyfriend." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. That's not a problem." So I used the restroom. My friend, I'm not even gonna put his name out there. I can't put his name. But one of my my close brothers in comedy, he he hears what's going on, and he asks the person that booked us to and put us in their house. He was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He said, "Oh, go check it out, champ." So he disappears in the room. I come out the restroom, and I'm like, I hear what's going on. Ha 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 ha. I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" And what's his name at? He said, "Oh, go check it out, champ." So I go upstairs, I go into the room, and while I'm going up the stairs, like it's crickly because it's all wood, like the old wood. And so I dark room, I see my buddy at the edge of the bed, just looking. The young guy and the older woman were getting it on. The husband was in the next bed sleeping.
What?
So I get behind it. I'm like, "Oh, what the hell is going on right now?" All of a sudden, my friend that booked us was right behind us. Was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." I was like, "Where the fuck you come from?"
Oh my
He came
God.
out of nowhere. So then after he grabs the lady, puts her in a position, then we leave out of that room. We all fall asleep. That couple was still going at it. As I'm trying to go to bed on the couch in the living room, he says, "I'm gonna go check it out." I was like, "Look, the door is closed, so I think that's a sign for you stay out of it. Just completely stay out of it." He said, "I'm gonna check it out." I was like, "You know what? Do what you want to do." He goes up the stairs that's creeping, that sounds like Scooby-Doo. He goes into the room, he goes, and close the door. Pop. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, we good." And he's like, "Oh, my bad, my bad." That was hilarious. That
Oh
was
my God.
that was one of the stories.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So, like when you've been traveling, do people recognize you or recognize people you're traveling with, or it's
No,
not like that?
no, I think the thing is with social media nowadays, you have to have yeah, I have one of my buddies. He's from Canada. He just moved to Vegas. His name is a comedian. He's Tricks.
What's his
And
name?
Tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tricks. So Tricks is a well-known Instagram following, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Like this guy is absolutely hilarious. So we we go to New Orleans for his birthday just to get completely hammered because New Orleans is pre-pandemic. New Orleans, everything is open, no masks. Everybody's walking the street. It smells like piss in Bourbon Street. We're at this place taking absinthe, and this guy's there for his 21st birthday with his mom. The kid tells his mom, "That's Tricks." And so the mom comes over. He was like, "Hey, my son really likes your YouTube." Like, I was like, "Oh, that." I mean, for that part, that was the only time that I've had like a celebrity friend been recognized, outside of, our comfort zone of being in the club or being just pretty much being out and about.
Yes. Well, so then let me get into your acting. You've been on some major shows. Do you want to talk about what that was like in those different shows you were on?
Yeah,
And I don't know the difference between shows and movies, so just take it for what it is.
so movies, I was, there's like, it wasn't anything major as far as like speaking roles. I had one speaking role that was in Kites. That was the first Bollywood film shot in the United States,
Wow.
and I had a speaking role in that. For some reason, I'm always playing a cop in something. So I played a cop in Kites, where I had a speaking role, and I played a cop in a movie called Magic Man with Billy Zane. He was that one. He was a magician. It was based out of Vegas as well. So for some reason, I'm always playing a crime scene cop.
That's so cool. If they ever do a remake of Serpico, you should play that role.
All right, I'm down for
Yeah, let's do that.
let's go. Let's do it.
We got lots of pull. We're comedians,
What I gotta. I'm. Let's do it.
They say we're not essential. We'll show them.
Right. Let's do it.
How is that going? How are things opening up for you as far as getting your shows out in places that are really open?
Everything right now, especially is all just a percentage wise. Vegas is we're at 35%, which is not too much or anything like that, but we're working at limited capacity on some shows. So, and we want to keep with certain guidelines. I think Vegas is actually doing a great job on kind of bringing back certain shows. You have Brad Garrett's opened up. You have LA Comedy Club, which I'll be at LA Comedy Club this Friday night at midnight. I'll be doing the stupid tour with Brennan Guchan.
Love him.
Yeah, so I'll be on the show with Gooch this coming up week on Friday at midnight. Yeah, this Friday at midnight, I'm gonna be with Gooch. Mm-hmm. I have that show, have some stuff booked coming up month with a couple spots. I haven't really traveled too much out of the state or the country right now. I did Jamaica this past July, and I'll be back. They booked me back. I'm coming back this July 17th to the 24th in Negril, Jamaica. And which that one is a nudist spot.
Cool.
I think swinger spot. I don't know why I get booked. I'm getting on these swinger spots.
What is it like doing comedy in Jamaica?
It's great. We have it's called the Bonfire Comedy Show. So they set this bonfire up on the middle of the beach and set chairs around it. We have a DJ, have the PA system, the sound, the speakers, and just go up there and just have fun with a crowd that's half naked or naked and just telling jokes in front of people. It's being in a different country. It's great.
Yes. So have you ever done military tours?
No, that's something that I'm truly trying to get on, some USO tours, or get with the military branches out anywhere and really try to do some military stuff for the troops.
Were you ever in the military?
No, never.
Oh, that's good.
Almost.
I was.
Oh, no, I almost did it, but.
Yeah. So I had a reason for asking, because there's veterans of comedy here stateside.
Yeah, I know the guys. Yeah, we'll see.
Eric Knowles.
Eric Knowles, funny guy.
Isn't he?
Oh my God, he's absolutely hilarious.
Such a natural.
I think there's one. I think there might be one. Sean Halpin might be another one. That's with the Veterans of Comedy as well.
That's awesome. They just let me come in because I'm a veteran of the military.
Oh, awesome.
They just put me in their big dog group. Like,
if you do a show, let me know. I'd love to perform with you performing for the troops.
I will let you know. I go around to veteran places and knock on doors. I'm always asking people, businesses, that are veteran owned, or lots of veterans that work there, if I can come in and make them laugh. And the bigger ones I give to the Veterans of Comedy, but I do the little ones.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'll let you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what? That's one thing that our country needs to make sure that and completely protected is our veterans. Yes, that's huge. I think all veterans, healthcare, housing, make sure they're taken care of completely, because they've gone through a lot of stuff to, protect our country. So.
Yeah. Do you know some of the people with Armed Forces Entertainment and such that are bookers?
No, I'm not too familiar with anybody of them.
Because like Johnny Cardinale books tours when the world is open.
Okay.
Over in, Afghan, all the places. I know he does.
I'll go there.
Yeah, hit him up and let him know.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't keep it to just veterans.
Oh, good. Perfect.
That'd be really cool. So you love doing that. And who gets you the most in the crowd? I've got certain groups of people out there that don't get me, and then others that I don't even have to talk and they're laughing.
It's a mixture. I can touch a lot of different people's funny bones, regardless of, race, sex, creed, I try to touch on each and every one of them where they, can ride with me and through my journey on the stage. So I try to make it appealing for everybody.
That's
And,
great.
in the beginning, for sure, it was, some certain groups gave me a hard time, but it's learning, it's being in that process of being in the moment with that crowd. And I think improv kind of helped me a lot. Crowd work, I love crowd work. I love talking to the crowd, getting to know who they are, and
Me too.
vibing with them.
I love it so much. I would rather get out there and do crowd work, host and do crowd work than my set. It's like, oh gosh, I would rather just be with the people.
I feel you. I completely feel you on that. There's some
Yeah.
places they don't like that. They want you to do straight material. So it's like, hey, you love me for me, or you don't love me for what I'm providing for you guys. So, not everybody. And then again, I could say I'm not the funniest, I'm not the worst, but take me as I am. If I'm not your cup of tea on, your shows, then it is what it is.
Yeah, don't book me again. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine. So
And we're not all right for every room.
right.
Maybe.
Richard Pryor, had people that didn't like him. I mean, probably a rare few, but I mean, how can you not like that guy? He's absolutely funny.
Yeah,
He's
I
the
would
greatest
imagine
ever.
greatest, the GOAT.
The
And
GOAT.
and then Dave Chappelle. That's how I see it.
Dave Chappelle's up there too. I just it's such a tie. It's like I love both of them.
Yeah, I don't know that there should be this, but good two of them. I think I agree with you more than, but like I guess we do that when people die. We put them up a little higher just because they're, they've gone on. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. So who is your favorite comedian that inspired you to do this? This is the typical interview question.
I would say in entertainment completely was Jim Carrey.
Are you anything like him?
I wish.
Gosh.
Jim Carrey was my absolute inspiration to getting up on the stage.
Man,
Yeah,
that guy's something else.
he's super talented, super smart. Just his I think a lot of his physical work on stage, his movements and his facial expressions of what he does. They're very captivating when you're just watching the guy perform. Especially in movies, or you see Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura. And this guy just really lights up a screen and lights up the stage where he's at.
He does, and he commits to anything he's doing. He's like one notch behind Robin Williams. Like Robin went a little bit crazier further, but he's right in there.
Yeah, when Jim Carrey did Man on the Moon, though, when he had to play, what was it, Andy? I forgot the guys.
Kaufman?
Andy Kaufman, when he played him, and he really embodied his character. And there's documentaries of Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman, how in tune that he was into that character, which is scary as hell, because you look at that, it's like another Heath Ledger that played the Joker.
I'll have to go check that out. I hadn't heard that.
Wow. Oh yeah, Netflix.
Have you ever met? Who are some of the biggies in the business you've met and been really impressed with, and why?
Been in rooms. I've met Dave Chappelle. I had the chance to meet Dave Chappelle.
What was it like? What was it like?
Well, I wasn't able to talk to him because we was at a table, and it was loud around, so I wasn't able to have a conversation with him. But it was like being around him. No, I met Kevin Hart before. Cat Williams, Nick Cannon. I've met Jamie Foxx.
What?
Yeah, Bill Bellamy.
Oh no, you didn't.
Deion Cole. Yeah, I mean, I've met. It's I mean, especially when I lived in LA, when I was around the comedy scene, you get to meet everybody. You run into everybody in Hollywood. So Dane Cook, Spike Lee.
Oh, would I like
Yeah,
to interview Spike Lee? Man,
yeah.
what a guy.
So there's so many people that you get to rub elbows with and touch to. It's hard because everybody once again has their own story. They have their own way that they made a career out of where they're at, and nobody it this game is a marathon. It's not a race. A lot of people want to get famous quick, and they want to make the money quick as well, but it's the work too that everybody has to put into, and not taking anything away from a lot of people that haven't put in work. And the game is just hard. This is a hard game.
Hard. And,
So
like you have to stay out of all of the drama. I know every city has its own. I've been in SoCal, New York, Philly, LA. I've been in Portland comedy. They all have drama. No city
yeah,
is any better.
yeah, you're absolutely right about that. There's always drama. You have to kind of keep your head on a swivel and just focus on your path.
Yes.
Focus on what you want.
What you can do better. Like, do you ever take I've heard that a lot of comics take the stuff that's painful. I Everything in my set is always all from pain that I've tried to make funny. Some people don't do that. And you were mentioning earlier that you try to appeal to all the people. So I would imagine you veer away from the pain side of things. And like, what is your comedy about your own life? And did your jokes all come from pain or not?
I think that's some of the best material when it comes from your life, because nobody could really steal you.
Yes.
Um, I really try to tell my story up on stage. Then also there's moments when I heighten certain things. I can elaborate on, certain things in the joke as well. Sometimes it's not completely truthful onto the joke, but that's creating. That's there's some type of truth within the comedy to kind of get it to where it's at. But it all stems from some type of pain or experience in my life that I've gone through to get it to that point. You know.
Absolutely. What's your favorite joke, like ever that you've done?
Oof.
Or a joke that it sort of works, but you're never going to get rid of it is one of your favorites? That's a
Oh.
fun question. Everybody's got one.
Ah.
Want to hear my favorite joke I wrote?
Yeah.
Okay, this is just to buy you time to think, okay?
Okay.
So, you shouldn't lead with this joke. I get it. You should do a few jokes and then drop this one. Like, I'm so lucky because my parents survived the Holocaust. And
The
then you
whole.
watch the Holocaust,
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. And then their sphincters tighten and you can hear the air sucked out. And then you go, no, no, don't get sad. I mean, it's really great because they survived the Holocaust that did exist. That's about the results it gets, and I love the freaking joke. And it takes a few seconds for people to get it.
All right. Uh, this one, I mean, it's always been a hitter, and it ended up becoming a stock joke, really, that I have. It's certain things in my life, my family, you know, doing movies now. Did a movie, went straight to Netflix. It was great. A guy named Billy Zane. Are you guys familiar with Billy Zane? A lot of people say, yeah, I know who Billy Zane is. I didn't know who the hell Billy Zane was at first. As a casting director, I was like, excuse me, sir, who's the main character? He said, you don't know who it is? This is Billy Zane. I was like, who the fuck is Billy Zane? He said, you don't know? I was like, sir, that's why I'm asking. Who's Billy Zane? He said, Billy Zane, he played the main villain in Titanic. I was like, oh, for real? Because the whole time of the villain was a fucking iceberg. So I hate, like, don't confuse me with that. But my family's starting to get to notice certain things that I'm doing. My godson, my nephew, love him to death. He's like, hey, uncle, you telling jokes in front of people, you traveling, doing movies. He said, I got a joke for you. I was like, go, little man, shoot for it. What you got? He said, what do you call a midget Mexican? I was like, well, that's a midget Mexican.
Okay.
So I was like, well, that's a bad start overall. You might have to start over. Proceed, man. You're my nephew, my godson, love him to death. Go, tell the joke. What do you call a midget Mexican? He said a paragraph. I was like, why the hell would you call a midget Mexican a paragraph for? Because they're too short to be essays. I was like, what the fuck?
That's so cute. I like that. I love your delivery.
Thank
I
you.
like the way you switch up long sentences with really short, abbreviated little things, and you put a lot of emotion in it. And I heard a lot of varying of your tone of voice and your speed. Do you know you're doing all that?
No.
You're doing a lot to keep it interesting.
Yeah, I switch up. Sometimes I switch up the pace of it, and I mean that's all learning processes as well. Paces of jokes and the beats per minute. Just trying to get certain things.
Yeah, I got told that I'm really predictable. Like that. Yeah, that when I'm doing a joke, it sounds like the last joke. It's like my voice and my rhythm, and I'm like, oh man, could you get off my back? You have to have a surprise punchline. Like, you know what? It's a surprise if I remember it. Get off my back.
That's too funny.
Just never ends the things that you can improve.
Always improve. It's always improvement.
Always, always. What is a goal you have for your acting, for your comedy? Are you a goal person, or am I just blowing smoke right now?
No, definitely a go person. I'm trying to write scripts, trying to get this out there. I want to, write for sitcoms and be behind the, in that writing room and getting with sitcoms, and then after eventually kind of building in front of that camera. But want to get into that writing room and punch some stuff up as well. So.
Do you know Curtis Cook?
Sounds familiar.
He came out of Portland, moved to, so did I originally, but he's in LA now. He's been in writers' rooms. He's a great guy.
Okay.
Somehow he broke into that. Maybe you could connect with him.
Sounds great. Yeah. Curtis Cook.
Tell me where I can tell people to follow you, support you.
All my social media is RICKYBYRNE, Ricky Byrne. I should be,
because that's your name.
Yeah. All my social media, Ricky Byrne, BYRNE. Irish last name, Puerto Rican mother. My father's Black, Irish, and Indian from England.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm all mixed up.
What was your mom?
My mother's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, okay.
Puerto Rican from New York, yes.
Nice. And your grandmother that you had around that you gave credit to earlier?
That's my Puerto Rican grandmother, Elizabeth Palomo. So I come from a family of musicians. My grandfather, he was a percussionist in New York back in the day. There was a gentleman that just recently passed, Johnny Pacheco, which he was a famous salsa artist. And, my grandfather was in the likes of playing with him and this guy, Willie Bobo. My grandfather kind of like started the salsa movement in New York. And he took my family from New York to Los Angeles, and that's where, I was created at. But I come from a family of musicians originally.
Wonderful. What would you say to people if you have like 10 minutes to say anything you want to people coming on at the end here or listening to this without me interrupting or asking Barbara Walters questions? What is it you would like to say that I didn't ask? Anything you'd like to inspire people in any way, or?
I think probably one of the biggest things was, I think in the beginning of the show, I kind of mentioned it, even like depression, everybody goes through it. And, we have to find our rhythm. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be out there to kind of reach out to. So make sure you guys reach out to somebody that's, if you are depressed or if you're in that mental state or mind state of even, thinking that you're alone or anything, you're not alone. There's always somebody to go to. You can call somebody, but reach out to people because there's there's too much of this mental illness kind of going around that people are kind of like taking their own lives, or they're hurting other people. You know, there's other outlets to really get to kind of get help. And you know, you just got to reach out. Somebody's going to reach back. Don't hurt yourself. Don't, you know, hurt anybody else. But if you're feeling hurt, you know, just find a way, or reach out, and don't feel embarrassed to reach out to anybody.
Absolutely. The whole the stigma against mental illness, I believe, is what's killing people.
Oh,
Not
for
the
sure.
mental illness, but the stigma to reach out. Like I have a relative, I had a drunk driver hit me in 96, so I sustained brain trauma. They diagnosed mild dementia due to brain trauma,
Oh, wow.
right? Took 6 years looking at notes. Now I don't need notes on stage. And but like I've been through the mental breakdowns of being a different person after brain trauma. And I've got relatives that have jobs who refuse to go get mental health help because the jobs will fire them.
That's
We need to do
ridiculous.
something about that. That's
Right.
horrible.
Yeah, we need to protect our people, you know, as much as we can. We have too much really to go against us right now, that, you know, your own self shouldn't be going against you. You should be positive about, you know, the next step in life to, you know, prosper from. You know, everything is a step. It's not going to always be easy, but, you know, if you don't ever feel that way, that you're alone, because other people have gone through it. I mean, that's the thing with us, for us comedians, because we're almost mentally ill ourselves, and we just bring our life onto the stage and try to make somebody else laugh off our, you know, our pain, really. And then after, the audience members are like, oh, I'm not the only one kind of going through this. Like, it is funny.
Yes, exactly right. So, you're such an advocate for combating mental illness and the stigma of it, which since I'm a military veteran, I know how the military affects people, and our veterans are suffering. So, what in your life made you so sensitive to the issues around mental illness, Ricky?
uh I think within my own self and friends, I've growing up, I've had a lot of friends pass away, and not just all just because of mental health, or, you know, suicide or anything like that. But, you know, I've got to see my fair shares of people with that, you know, that have passed from that. And, you know, we're constantly going through it. We're constantly going to have to deal with that. And, you know, helping our military is another thing, because, you know, I have military, you know, family that are completely shell shocked from Vietnam, you know. So
Wow.
we a lot of it goes to it, you know. Then, you know, from that mental health, there's homelessness, and how do we fix this? How do we find the help? How do we get the help? And, you know, and it's tough, but you kind of have to kind of like reach out and have to give let's find the right information to give to people to get that help.
And keep, like speaking of, if you're listening, reach out. And I've reached out to the 1-800-273-TALK and been frustrated and hung up. Not a good idea because the police come to your door. And you're down and out and you feel like they're talking down to you. Just call back and talk to somebody else. That person maybe had a personality conflict with each other. Call back. Never give up reaching out till you get the right connection.
Completely.
Yeah, one
I,
call may not do it.
nah, you might you might have to make a lot of phone calls. All depending what service plan you have, you might not have enough minutes.
And when you get a shrink and she tells you that she has every single symptom you do, get another shrink.
Yeah, you need a second opinion every time. Definitely need a second opinion.
You do
It's
not
like,
need to be upstaged by your shrink.
right. She's like, I got more problems than you. You like, do you want to sit on the couch? I might need to be your shrink, okay? What is going on here? Why are you telling me your issues?
That's one of my bits that I do because I literally at the VA I had a shrink that every single symptom she said she had it too, and I'm like, so I started making up symptoms just to see if she said she had those.
Right.
This is doing none of us any good.
I'm you talk to your shrink. I'm gonna need a copay from you. I need your copay. I need that copay from you. I need that insurance plan of what you have. No, write it down. Write it down. Please write it down. I'm gonna need that copay because I'm your shrink right now, and you need to be sitting on the couch.
One
Fuck.
time I was in the waiting room at the VA. They want you there 15 minutes early. I'm sitting there minding my own business, which is hard because I look like a Karen. I get it. I'm sitting there waiting for my shrink. She doesn't come out till like 10 after. And she has the audacity to tell me that she had to go get some acetaminophen to be able to handle me. She needed the acetaminophen to get in her bloodstream before she could take. Listen, you're the one that wants my symptoms. I don't want it.
Oh my God.
I'm just making this up right now, but it's true. She did. She
Oh.
told me this. I'm like, you have bad pride. You can't even plan to have acetaminophen in. Her whole room was full of magnets. She was like a magnet for magnets. She collected them.
Wow.
The first time I've ever said this stuff about that. I just
use it on stage.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about her stealing identity, but I just ad-libbed a little here. I'm learning to ad-lib from you. Thank you.
Oh, not a problem.
So are you those headphones? I can't get any headphones. This is every time I try to get something good, it doesn't last. So I'm factories.
It's the AirPods, yeah.
Just the things that came with the phones.
Yeah, it's all right. That's fine.
I try to get high tech. It don't work for me. I don't know.
You can get them. You're good.
I'm ghetto.
You're not ghetto. You just get them. Just get them.
I'm OG.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You do have anything else you want to add? Because I cannot interrupt. I can try.
No, follow the podcast, Senseless Behavior Podcast. Like I said, we're on Spotify, YouTube right now, and Ricky Byrne, RICKY, BYRNE. Follow me on all my social media. When I have some dates up, I'm definitely putting up on my social media. So come and support and follow. Let me bring you on the journey and that ride that you can see about pretty much about my life and try to tickle your funny bone a little bit. So, yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing cruise comedy?
Yeah. I have to be super clean. Them kids, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to toss them over. Yeah.
Maybe you could get a swingers cruise.
Ooh, that'll be great.
Yeah, nude. I want to see a nude captain at the helm.
Are you gonna be there?
No, not at all.
Then I don't want to do it.
Oh, you got me.
I'm a charmer. You better watch me.
I see that. You're a doll. This has been so fun. Do you want to say anything as we go?
No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
Now that you're on the same level with Sinbad and Tommy Chong as of today.
No, I'll never beat. It's going to take me some years to get to that level. Those guys are great. Aren't
they something?
Yeah.
I would love to have you come back to plug and promote anything you're doing once a month. I offered it to 642 people before you. Maybe 5 people have taken me up on it.
I'll definitely reach out to you for sure. Thank you.
I'd love to be here to help promote more. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Ricky Byrne, you guys. Yay. Woo. Thank you so much. I miss you already.
Hey, I miss you. Look at that.
See you later. Bye, Ricky.
Thank you. Bye.